We're changing lives, guys. Each and every day that, I get up every day. I get up in the morning early, and I'm excited because I get to meet new team members every day, and I get to actually talk to people in the chat and really get to connect with people. And that's really what it's all about. It's all about building relationships and connecting and actually being able to gain access from, what it is we do as marketers. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, I'm excited right now because what's going on, there's a huge shift right now getting ready to happen, right? And if you don't pay attention to what's happening right now in the economy, in the industry, you're going to miss the boat. You know what I mean? It's not something that you want to miss. And this actually started quite some time now. It's been going on. The shift has already begun for quite some time now. Many of you have experienced it with the economy, the downturn of the economy in recent years and all. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's only going to get a lot worse, okay? And I myself, a little bit about me. I'm originally from the Virgin Islands. I was born in St. Croix. I grew up on Tortola in the British Virgin Islands, and I graduated high school at the tender age of 16, and then I wanted to pursue on, and I joined the U.S. Army. I wanted to travel more, really, and just get away and see the world, and I joined the U.S. Army. I had no idea what it was all about. So the day I actually joined the Army was, well, not the day I joined, but the day I was shipping out to go to basic training was the actual morning of 9/11 when the planes hit the towers. So that was very significant for me. At the time, I had no idea what the Twin Towers were because I grew up in Paradise on this little island. I never really watched television growing up. I wasn't really into politics. I wasn't really into world events and all that kind of stuff. I was just focused on enjoying it, the sun, waking up every day, going out, playing in the yard, going to the beach all the time, having a good time. That was my child growing up. And that day when they hit the towers, we were on our way to the battalions, and my life changed. 6 months after that, I was actually in Afghanistan, climbing up mountains and stuff and getting shot at on the two-way live fire range, I like to call it. And I was young, I was excited about it because it was a new experience. It was something I'd never done before. Unfortunately, a lot of things happened during that time that started to open my eyes to life and actually the meaning of it and why it's so why life is so important and what we can actually get out of it. And while I was there, I actually found out that I was having my first child, and one night I was sitting down outside and I started to think to myself, like, when I'm 65, 67 or whatever, when I'm an old man, what do I want the conversation with my daughter to be like, right? And I literally sat and thought about that for about, for quite some time, I'll say about an hour. And I thought to myself, I wanted to actually sit down with my child or children now and be able to look back at my life and actually share life experiences that we had. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it, we all live to generate income. We were told to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and one day everything will work out. You're going to live the American dream. That's what many of us are told. That's what many of us are programmed to believe. And it doesn't always work out that way, okay? About 98% of the population actually end up working for about 2% of the money, and 2% of the population actually earn 98% of the money. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but that's really what's going on. And unless you're prepared to actually do something about it and align yourself with, people that have the knowledge, that have the tools and the networks and the connections to actually be able to get you around and involved in particular organizations and training information and knowledge that's going to help you to be able to understand how to combat this very tough, uncontrollable economic downturn that we're experiencing. And I mean, it's something that, like I said, we're all told to go to school, get a good education, get a good job. One day it'll work out. And many of us, to include myself, it doesn't work out for us that way. And like I said, the 98%ers, we're the ones, that we go when we go to get a good education, get a job. And then when it doesn't work out, we get all upset about, everything not working out. We're mad at the system, yada, yada, yada. However, there's one simple way to be able to change that, right? And it's called knowledge. Knowledge is the new money, so what you need to do is get you some, right? Now, I'll be straight up. It's not necessarily the knowledge that you're going to get in school. Most of the knowledge that I've gained to become a six-figure earner, it had nothing to do with college. It had nothing to do with an institution. It actually had to do with me partnering up with the right individuals and actually investing in my education the right way, learning from an actual business owner, somebody that actually created 7 figures on the internet that knows the actual facts about what's going to get you success, not out of some textbook, not out of some school, not from somebody that does not have results or some wino on the internet that tried to generate income online, and he failed miserably, and he just gave up on himself because his dream wasn't big enough. His why was not something that he was prepared to actually take serious. You know what I mean? So when you think about it, in order for you to have success, you got to understand that success, you got to begin with the end in mind, right? You got to know what it is you want, right? You have to know what your why is, okay? You got to know what the reason is for you to be able to generate, for you to get up every day, actually, to take action every day. What's the reason that gets you up in the morning to go to that job or to do the thing that you find yourself doing right now, whether you like it or not? What is that one thing? What's your reason? And if you can't put your finger on the reason or figure it out, you need to actually spend some time and think about what it is you really want out of this life. Because I'm telling you, whatever you want, you can have it, okay? But you need to be clear on what it is you want so that way you know exactly what you need to do in order to have the result. I hope I'm making sense here to somebody, and I hope that somebody's getting a breakthrough right now, because this is powerful. And this is the stuff that helped me to make a decision, to align myself with the right people and make the connection. Now, it took me a long time to figure this out, because when I was 18, 19, 20, I thought I knew it all, right? I was actually I got started in a network marketing opportunity, and I started making money my first month, the first time in, actually. I made right about $500-$600 my first month. 4 months in, I made about $1,000, and I got instantly hooked on that success, because my effort, right, something that I did aside from my military income at the time, it actually generated more income. It compounded than all the work that I did in the military, and I would still draw the same salary. That pissed me off. When I figured out that even if I worked 80 hours a week, 100 hours a week, or 5 hours a week, my paycheck never changed. It was the same thing. So, I figured out real fast, how do I go ahead and work 8 hours a week and still draw the same paycheck with providing value, right? And it literally, that mindset happened when I read a book called The 4-Hour Workweek. Okay, that actually cut my goal in half to actually show me how to go from making $40,000 a year working 80 hours a week to working 4 hours a week making $40,000 a month, right? Which is pretty interesting, and it sounds far-fetched. And when I first read that in the book, I was like, how in the heck do you go from making $40,000 a year to $40,000 a month? Like, who does that? How is that really possible? And believe it or not, it is. There's a lot of people out there in the world that actually do that, and we know who they are, but we never know how their income's broken down, because when we hear about their incomes, we hear about large sums. We hear about millions. We hear about billions. We hear about, trillions. But if you break it down to an hourly wage, most successful people make about, a couple $100 a minute or an hour or what have you, right? And they're passionate about what they're doing, and they're free. They don't have to worry about money. They don't have that problem, because when you take away the fear of losing money and the fear of having money, when that fear is gone, and now you have an opportunity and a possibility to be able to be who you are, you accomplish more, you do more, and you're more of a passionate person and somebody that people wants to be around. And you actually be able to attract, right, and make connections that you never would have before, because now your mind is freed from the stress and the pain of the financial burden, right? Because that's not cool. There's a good friend that we all have, a mutual friend, and I hope one of these days somebody could find him, arrest him, incarcerate him, get rid of him. I don't know, but his name is Bill. This dude shows up pretty much every day of the month for some of us, and he just taxes and takes and sucks all of our money out of our bank accounts, out of our wallets, out of our change drawer, out of our couches, just because his name is Bill. He could do that, right? And that's not cool. We got to figure out a way how to actually shut Bill up and just be able to live and prosper and grow and be able to connect and be who we truly need to be. So how do we do that? How can you go ahead and start generating an income part-time from your mobile device or with your laptop, just putting in a couple hours a week of work, a few hours of work? How can you do that, right? That's one of the questions I ask myself when I first read the 4-Hour Work Week. How is this possible? And I'll tell you how it's possible. Around 2006, I actually got connected with a business team with a company. You guys might have heard about a basketball team named the Orlando Magic. And there's a parent company that owns the Orlando Magic basketball team called Altacore, right? And Altacore, they actually own another company that's in the network marketing industry. And this company has a business system that is kind of like what we have here of masterminds and intelligent people that have made so many mistakes that their bank accounts are just ridiculously large, and they're impacting lives, and they're able to give money away to charity, and they're able to save money. They're able to actually have actual assets that generate residual income, not just from this opportunity, but it opened up the door for them to have multiple streams of income, right? So when I got involved with this organization, and I immediately started to change the way I was thinking, change the way I looked at life, change the way of how I thought about money, and change the way about how I actually understood how money, the flow of money, how currency moves. It changed the way I thought about accomplishing my goals because of the people that I was around. I saw that there's no way on earth that you can get rich quick unless you hit the lotto and you inherit money from a rich relative, and you have a strategy to win the lotto, right? Those are probably the only two ways I can think of legally where you can actually become a millionaire overnight and not have to worry about the IRS, or, well, you kind of still will, but worry about somebody breathing down your neck or what have you. That's it. Any other way that you want to generate income, whether it be for an hourly wage, as a contractor, freelance, you have to put in some work. You have to put in effort. Okay, Michael Jordan didn't become a 100 millionaire or whatever. I don't know his net worth, but he didn't get to that point just from not showing up to practice, not having the Breakfast Club, not playing in the 90s with the flu in the finals to win the game. He didn't just wake up and that happened. He had to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that to get to that level. But did it pay off? You can all look around and all you guys know Michael Jordan. Of course it did, right? Some of you guys might be music enthusiasts like myself, like Jimmy Buffett, for instance. He didn't just wake up one day and have $400 million in net worth. He put some work in, okay, and he was able to do something he was passionate about, right? Now, many of you on the phone are listening to me. You might be saying, Dan, he's talking about this, talking about that passion and making money, da-da-da-da. Now, something you got to understand when it comes to making money, it's really just a mindset and an idea, right? It is, but you got to also look at who you're getting involved in and what industries are actually thriving and how you can actually leverage those industries, okay? Now, one of the things about network marketing that I love, this is an old adage I used to always hear about network marketing. This is something I got from Donald Trump, right? This is the poor man's way to get rich, straight up, because never anywhere else, there's nowhere else on earth where you can actually start a business that's franchised just like the way McDonald's is, just like the way Quiznos, all those large franchise corporations that's been around for decades, right? Most of those franchises, they're profitable companies. You're going to make money. You're going to profit from them because of the stability and the impact of the brand, right? So with that, how is it that you can actually start something that can get as large as, let's say, McDonald's? We'll click on McDonald's a little bit and not have to come up with $1 million of liquid cash that you need to actually invest in McDonald's, right? I don't know if most of you guys knew that, but you actually need $1 million of cash capital. No, it cannot be tied to any assets, and you have to have 12 months off from a job or free of your time to go to what's called Hamburger University up in Chicago. That's a real place. You go to Hamburger University, and then you get your McDonald's franchise, and then you got to go through all the building codes and all that crap, and it's just a whole long drawn out process. You got to get a building. You got to get all the overhead and everything in place, employees, staffing, hundreds of thousands of dollars in this and that and all that crap, and then you got to manage it every month. And most people don't know this, but McDonald's, they actually only get paid, the actual parent company, not the McDonald's that most of us go to eat or the ones you see on the corners or wherever at. They actually only get paid 2% on all the revenues from each individual McDonald's store. So basically every McDonald's that you pass by around your local city, they only have to pay back 2 cents on every dollar back to the parent company, right? Now, you might look at that and be like, damn, how the heck is McDonald's making money? Well, think about it. If McDonald's, the corporate company, has 40,000 locations across the globe like they do right now, they probably have way more, and all of them are sending McDonald's. I mean, it's safe to say one McDonald's can probably pull in, I don't know, maybe $50,000 a day in revenues, right? And part of it, let's say if it's 10% of that, or let's just say, just to keep the math simple, out of that 50,000 or 2% of that you kick back to the parent company. That's pocket change to that business owner that owns that store location. But to McDonald's, that's a small fraction of the big picture. And once you have multiple outlets, multiple streams of cash flowing into your bank account, you're going to see exponential income. You're going to see exponential growth. And that's why you see so many McDonald's popping up and so many Taco Bells and all these franchises and all that kind of stuff. So how do you do that with a limited budget, maybe with working a full-time job, maybe with going to school, maybe being unemployed, maybe like I was 12 months ago being homeless? how do you go ahead and dig yourself out of a crappy situation to be able to generate a six-figure income? How is it possible? How do you do it? Well, the poor man's way to get rich that I've discovered, that I'm working, that many others